let's get rocking. We got two more shows to do with this. To do with the 72 reasons you need marriage coaching. You probably wonder, why is Jerry taking this so long to do this? Well, because the reason why it's important. And so if it's important, I'm going to do it. And so today and tomorrow will be pretty quick shows because I don't like putting a whole lot of things together. And so we're here. What is the rush? There's no rush. And a lot of times, if you want to just go through it quick, all you got to do is watch the replay. You can fast forward and move all the where you want. You can move it where you want and all that stuff. The good thing is these 72 things, when I go into them, just look at yourself and look and see if these things are you. Okay. And if they are, you might think you might need some help. Okay. So now let's understand the difference between marriage coaching and marriage counseling. Marriage coaching focuses on goals and actions to draw your spouse back to you. It focuses on building skills and habits to improve yourself in order to again become valuable to your spouse as a husband or wife. Most coaches focus on the spouse that wants to save the marriage, which means they don't need the other spouse that is uninterested in the marriage to participate. Also, this is why it is important as a husband to get yourself right first and learn how to be a great husband, which will interest your wife again in your relationship. Then marriage counseling can be helpful. This is why marriage coaching doesn't focus on feelings, but facts, goals, skills, and habits, which means that the person will become a better spouse as they reach each goal, increasing the chance greatly that they will save their marriage and draw their spouse back to them, which is what we're trying to do. People don't really realize that marriage is an attraction. I mean, we know that at the beginning but we kind of seem to forget that over our years together, that everything we do is supposed to attract that person to us. Now, we're going to disagree. Things are going to go bad, but that doesn't matter. Our habits and things that we learn and we get in our skills, that helps us to continually draw our spouse to us. And many people forget that. They don't get up thinking, you know what can I do to help my wife? What can I do to draw my husband to me and make my husband want to talk to me and be around me and things like that? We're so worried about our jobs and the kids and all these other things that kind of get in the way of what the most important relationship is, which is our marriage. Today, people don't really realize how important their marriage is until they're about to lose it. That is the thing I go through all the time, and it's so sad. People that are married, even people in great marriages, they don't really realize how important that marriage is until they lose it. Nobody messes with marriage until there's a problem, right? But we work on finances all the time. We work on our job all the time. We try to work on our relationship with our coworkers, and and our kids. Our kids get more attention than our spouse does on trying to make the relationship better. Why? Because we think, hey, I already got them. I already have my wife, so I don't have to put as much into it. Well, that's a mistake. And women's the same way. They don't do what they're supposed to do either. They don't put their all into it. They think they are, but they're really not. Marriage is about attraction. And if you can attract your spouse to you every day, you will never lose that spouse. Matter of fact, your marriage will always be exciting and passionate. Bam. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. All right. We are back. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just go over kind of like why these signs are important. We've done 60 of them. So we have 12 left. I'm going to do 6 today and then 6 tomorrow. And then this series will be done. A good thing is, yes, you might not look at this series as important right now, but there are going to be a lot of people that are going to listen to this and go, wow, that's me. Wow, I need that. And that's what I want you to think about as you listen to this on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, listen to it on my podcast on iTunes, Sprit, what is it? Spotify, all of them, Google podcasts, all these places where my podcast is. And you're gonna be listening to this stuff. And you're gonna be like, man, that's me. And I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna plead with you when it clicks that you need help. Then what I want you to do is go to SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and watch the marriage master class. And if it's appropriate and you feel you need more help, click on that schedule button and schedule an appointment. Okay. So these things are important. So let's listen to them. There's no more procrastinating. Time is over. It's time for you to look at these red flags and see if this is actually you, and maybe that over time you feel, and it's not too late, that you need help. So we're at start with number 61. The number 61 reason that you need marriage coaching is you don't sacrifice for your wife and marriage. That is so important. We think that we sacrifice for our wife by what? By going to work. But look, man, that's what you're supposed to do. I call it, that's what you're supposed to do. People kill me in this country today how we want credit for stuff we're supposed to be doing. Like, I go to work every day. Yeah, you do that for yourself. Your kids and wife get the benefit too, but you got to eat. You got to have a roof over your head. You got to have a car to drive to get to work. You need clothes on your back. And so we as men, we think, well, I go to work every day. I work 12 hours a day. Now, first of all, if you're working 12 hours a day and you got to be very meticulous in spending time with your spouse, with your wife. But that's for another day. But right now, let's just think about it. If you don't sacrifice for your wife in marriage, then what are you doing? And actually, what does that look like? What does that mean? Real, true, and authentic men understand that this time on earth is about sacrifice and suffering, not pleasure, wants, and desires. I don't know why this has not been passed on from the church. I don't really understand it. But if you look at Christ, that's all he was about, suffering and sacrifice. And why? Because Christ knows that in order to be a true man and to show others how to be a man, this is what this is about. Without suffering and sacrifice, how can we step before God? How can we be in front of God? How can we say we're worthy to stand in front of God? And that's what this is about. If all we seek is pleasure, we will never get down to the business of suffering and sacrificing for God, our wife, and our kids. Marriage and our wife is always at the top of our list. Her wants, her desires, her needs are what is important. We never consider our wants and desires before hers. This builds complete and total love, respect, and devotion from our wives. That's another, I can't tell people, men, enough that men, we crave respect. It just is. We're broken. That's how it is. Even St. Paul says it in Ephesians about, wives, respect your husbands, because God knows the deal, but the problem with respect is people go about it in the wrong way. And respect does not necessarily mean, I'm this powerful person, then you got to respect me. Really, just because a person is a person, we respect them as a human person. Just by that's just by doing honor to God. That's what we're supposed to do. But many of us don't want to. We want respect. We don't want to earn respect. Like we're rude. We don't speak to other people. We're not nice. We're kind of mean. We lose control easily. We go off on people. Our temperament is very quick. Um, we don't have good character. We're not very moral. We think we're moral, but we're really not. We're rude to people. We're selfish. All of these things, man, don't garner respect, but we want it. And so one of the things that we should think about is if you want respect, the quickest way to respect is holiness, virtue. That's the quickest way to respect. The quickest way to respect is become like God, be who you say you're gonna be like Christ. That's how you rock that. Okay. And so what that means is every day as a man, how does that look like in real life? You don't sacrifice for your wife in marriage. So what we do is we wake up, we think, what can I do? What can I do for my wife? What can I do for God? So for God, the first thing we do is the morning offering, right? God, thank you for letting me wake up. Say 3 Hail Marys. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, not at the hour of our death. Amen. It's called the 3 Hail Mary devotion. You can use this as a morning prayer, a morning devotion. But whatever you do, that's how you honor God. When you first wake up, boom, before your feet hit the ground, you honor God by thanking him for the day, for waking you up, or whatever, to easy. I like 3 Hail Marys. It's quick. Then the next person in your mind is your wife. What can I do to make her morning easier? What can I do to make sure she's okay? What can I do throughout the day to win her heart that day? See? You didn't know that, did you? The first 2 people you think about when you open your eyes are Christ and your wife. That way, what does that do? First of all, that keeps yourself off yourself. That keeps selfishness out of your, that keeps selfishness out of you, because we are kind of instinctually, we think about ourselves first and last and in the middle all day long. So in order to be holy, become virtuous, become like our Lord, what we have to do is we have to really work hard to remove selfishness from our life. Okay, that's number 61. Number 62. We are that brings up number 62 reason that we need marriage coaching is we are selfish in our marriage. And that kind of goes to the other one about suffering and sacrifice, but it's a little different. It focuses completely on diabolical narcissism. Because narcissism was extremely selfish. I only think about myself. There's nobody else, and then I go to extreme means to do that. Right. So number 62 reason that we need marriage coaching is if we are selfish in our marriage. So selfishness ruined Lucifer, and he seeks to breed it in each and every one of us. And when we cooperate with selfishness, we cooperate with Satan, which means we lose our Lord and gain the demonic. Our marriage cannot and will not sustain selfishness. I hear it all the time. Selfish, 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 selfish. He's selfish, he's selfish, he's selfish, he's selfish. And again, we don't think we're selfish, but we are. This is why one of the ways to defeat selfishness is to put your mind on someone to serve other people. Like I used to tell a guy, he was an older man too, in his 60s, 70s or something. And, he'd get depressed, he'd get down, and it's everybody else's fault and blah, blah, blah. And I say, the first way to get rid of selfishness, to get rid of depression is to what? Serve somebody. Serve God, serve your wife, serve your kids, serve the poor, go to join the ministry at your church, give yourself to somebody else. That'll help with your depression. It really will. It'll give you a sense of accomplishment. But selfishness in our marriage is really I call it the murderer of marriage. It will kill your marriage. It dies slow because once your wife, the more she realizes how selfish her husband is, the more that pushes her away. Okay, so that's number 62. Another thing too about selfishness is the reason we don't think we're selfish or we're doing selfish acts is because we really don't contemplate that. We don't throughout the day, we don't think about, well, am I being selfish? And and that's a question we should be asking ourselves. When anytime as a man you get what you want, you should ask yourself, am I being selfish? Like if you ask your wife, you know, you know, just something simple, like, hey, can we have hot dogs for dinner tonight? And your wife, already planned to cook ribs, and you don't want ribs, you want hot dogs. And your wife goes, all right, okay, I'll make hot dogs. And then you should be asking yourself, am I being selfish? You know, and so I would say, well, go ahead and cook the ribs. Why? Because she's already made plans. She's already got the food. She's already got the seasonings, the ingredients to go for that. And now she's got to go out and retool for chili dogs. Does that make sense? And I know that's a small example, but it kind of brings home what I mean. It's the little things. People think, well, the big things. No, man, little things of selfishness lead to the big things. And look, everything that Satan does, evil does in our home and in our marriage and in our life, he never starts out big. Like, I mean, he just doesn't like take a plane and put it into the towers, right, in New York. Like that took a lot of planning. That took a lot of other evil people to cooperate, to come together as a team. It was a lot of little evil things that happened for that tragedy to occur. And that's how it happens in your marriage. It takes a lot of little selfish acts because selfishness is evil. It's a bad thing. It's pride, right? Basically. And so it takes a lot of those little selfish acts in your marriage for your wife to start to think, man, this guy's selfish. He only thinks about himself. And try your best. Selfishness, just try your best, man, to really ask yourself, when you get when you get what you want, when you get what you desire, and when you get what you need from your wife, you must ask yourself, was I selfish? Am I selfish? Could I have served her better? Okay. Now, number 63 reason that you will probably need marriage help is you don't understand how your wife's body works. This goes along with selfishness, you know, and so let me explain that a little bit. So her menstrual cycle, entering menopause, and what these things do to her temperament is vital to a healthy relationship. If you understand her body, she will respect you for it and admire your willingness to understand her. Women try, for the most part, to train us, their husbands, on their bodies. They kind of try a little bit. They don't really try that hard. Like when we're making love, or we're being intimate outside the bedroom or something, she'll go, well, that hurts, or be careful, or kind of stuff like that. And then, of course, as a man, what do? Our ego gets hurt. What do you mean that hurts? What do you mean? you know. And so this is where it comes down to paying attention to your wife. And her body is one of the most important things that happens. Man, I always say to my wife, man, y'all always got something wrong with y'all. Women always have something wrong with them. I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they're 20 or 99. There's always something wrong with them. And so what I started doing is I just started focusing on that. Okay, what's wrong with that? Why is that like that? Why does this hurt? Why does this not hurt? You know, when is her menstrual cycle? Like, what happens during her menstrual cycle? Why does she want to make love during this part of her menstrual cycle, but she don't want to make love in that part? After her menstrual cycle, why does she want to make love or not want to make love? Before her menstrual cycle, why does she want to make love or not want to make love or be intimate with me? Why does she have a temperament? Why is she getting all mad stuff? Doing her cycle before or after, all right. And believe it or not, man, your wife will respect you for that. Okay. The number two thing you got to learn about, because that's menstrual cycle. That is from when when you marry her. Let's say you marry your wife at 20. Okay. You marry your wife at 20, and then you go on for 30 years. So that's the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, and then she hit her 50s. And guess what happens then? A little before or a little after, she enters into the monster. You thought, as a man, that little 4 or 5 days out of the month that your wife didn't want to make love because she was bleeding on her period. Guess what? You think that was bad? Dude, I'm here to tell you the menopause monster is like Godzilla. The menopause monster is like Godzilla, baby. And if you don't understand menopause, you will seriously get your feelings hurt. I've got like 3 or 4 episodes on menopause. The reason why is because it's important. We, as men, we've got to get off our butts, man, and start to learn about our wife. Believe it or not, if you understand menopause, what it does, the decisions it makes her make, what it does to her body, what it does to her vagina, what it does to her breast, what it does to her, just her temperament, her mind, her thoughts, dude, you will be so far ahead of as a husband and a lover and a man of intellect when it comes to women than so many other men, even in your sphere. Because what happens is, man, when you understand your wife's menstrual cycle and her body, when you understand your wife's her menopausal stuff, then you just be curious about how she works and things all the time. And guess what? She starts to respect you. She'll talk to you about her body because most women ain't gonna talk to you about, oh, he don't know nothing. He don't really care. He don't want to know nothing about me. He just wants to get me into bed. That's kind of how they think. But you know, it's cool. They can think like that all they want. But see, what you do is you nip that in the bud and you start talking. You know more about her body than she does. That's how you play that. You learn about her stuff, and then guess what? She'll be more devoted. She'll respect you more. She'll love you more. She's like, oh, he just loves me so much. He knows he understands me when this hurts or when that happens. Okay, so man, that's a big thing. A lot of guys might not think it's important, but see, you want a great marriage or you want an okay marriage, and this is one of the all of these things are the difference between great husbands and mediocre husbands and bad husbands. But this one right here, this one really elevates you. This one elevates you to that great husband status. Okay, that really puts a nice little feather in your cap. Okay. Now, number 64. Number 64 reason you need marriage help, marriage coaching is you put yourself first during lovemaking. Woo, boy, we getting the selfish stuff today, huh? Well, the thing about it is once you learn how not to be selfish, man, your marriage just takes off. It just kind of does. Once, as a husband, you become not selfish anymore, and your wife knows it, she feels that you're just loving and you love her and she's important to you and you show it. You just don't open your mouth and say it. Man, things just kind of change. Because what guys don't understand about women, it's like they get a certain confidence when they know and feel their husband loves them more than anything in the world. It's a certain confidence they get. When a woman's in love, it's completely different than when a woman who ain't, right? Just look at feminists. They're miserable. They're miserable. Look at a woman who's married, who she loves, really loves her husband and feel that he loves her. It's like night and day. It's like darkness and light, right? And but see, you as a man, you have a lot to do with that as a husband. You really do. If your wife, if your wife is happy, if you have a happy wife, the number one reason is this, because of you. You, the way you treat her, the way she knows you feel about her, the way she feels about you, all of that. And when you combine that with God, our Lord, it just goes woo. Now, I'm not saying your wife's gonna be not gonna be depressed sometimes or not gonna be, but just as everybody, But I mean, most days your wife is a happy, perky person, you know, and people notice it. And that comes from what? Your love. Women get a certain confidence about that. Women who say, I don't need a man, it's because they ain't never had a good one. Woo, baby, you know that's right. You know that's right, Jerry. Women who say I don't need a man is because they ain't never had a good one. And that's their problem, not our problem, right, gents? So Number 64 reason is you put yourself first during lovemaking. So anytime men put themselves first, even one time in the bedroom, they have failed as a total and complete lover. Now, look, man, selfishness means you are a bad lover. I talk to guys all the time. Well, I make sure she get hers, but man, how do you know what hers is? Have you asked her? Have you talked about it? Most married couples don't even talk about sex. So how do you know what hers is? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's pride, you know. Um, so, but in order to combat that, you must always be asking yourself inside the. Now we're talking about inside the bedroom, not outside the bedroom. Okay, of course, outside the bedroom garners great intimacy inside the bedroom. But once you in there and you're in the bed, okay, what does selfishness look like? Okay, and so what you got to understand is how to please your wife and make her feel totally and completely fulfilled as a woman inside the bedroom. But if you don't talk to her about it and have talks about it, how you gonna know that? Only you can answer that, bruh. Next, our wives must enjoy intimacy too. And the more we put them first, the more they enjoy intimacy with us. Remember that sex affects women totally different than it does men. And we must understand this if we are to gain hearts, minds, and souls. If we are to gain our wife's heart, mind, and soul, we must understand these things. And one of them is understand her body, understand understand the female orgasm, understand how all of that stuff works together. All right. And if you do, then you don't put you will understand realize that putting myself first is the last thing I want to do with my wife, because eventually, if she is unsatisfied too much, she will start to think, what? He's selfish. And when your wife thinks you're selfish outside the bedroom and inside the bedroom, guess how much love making is going to be going on in your marriage? Practically none. So number 65. Number 65. The number 65th reason that you need marriage coaching is if we get upset when our wives refuse to make love to us. How many times as a husband have you gotten mad at your wife because she don't want to make love to you and she tells you, I got a headache, or I'm sick, or I don't want to, and then we get all mad. Usually at first, the first couple times we don't get mad, but after a while, when it starts to become a habit, we start to go, dang, man, she rejected me all the time. So what does a real authentic man do? What does a Christian soldier do in that situation? You must ask. I'm trying to get you to think about it. So what does a Christian soldier do in that case? What he does is he adapts the holy lover syndrome of, why does my wife keep turning me down for sex? I mean, it's a simple question. If it's been 30 days since we've made love, I should be in the mirror asking myself, or in my car driving to work, asking myself, man, I wonder why my wife don't want to be intimate with me. And then I look in the mirror and go, well, what am I doing? What am I doing to cause that? Man, that question right there saves marriages, dude. It saves sex lives. It really does. Because if you ask yourself that question and go, man, why does my wife ever want to have sex with me? Dude, you start to think about, well, is she really sick? Maybe she's sick. Is something wrong with her body? Maybe it's her hormones. Maybe it's her medication she's taking. Maybe it's me, And look, if you come to the conclusion that it's you, don't be upset about it, man. Don't be down about it. All you got to do is talk to her, have a conversation with her, and understand you and her come together and understand what your wife wants and needs. Now, a lot of times your wife don't know what she needs. Only thing you can get out of your wife when when a couple talks about intimacy, okay, inside the bedroom, what you're going to most times get out of your wife is what she thinks she wants, okay? And sure, you try to give it to her and you hope it's going to be cool and everything. But when you come and you enroll in the Catholic Alpha Marriage Program, I teach you what your wife needs. And then I teach you how to give it to her. And then your sexual problems are over. You combine that with your wife's wants, and you combine that with what your wife needs. And then you have, all of a sudden, you have this great inside the bedroom life. Okay. And this is why when we get upset when our wife doesn't want to make love to us, instead of analyzing the question and analyzing the situation, we could turn her off even more. Like, what she's like, what are you getting mad at me for? Because that's the question that's going to happen. You get mad, oh, she's gonna feel. And so a lot of times, wives will give you that pity. They'll give you that pity sex, right? That pity party sex, right? Okay, come on, hurry up. It's not gonna take too long. I got to wash the dishes, and then you go, dang. And so then you kind of go, well, I guess I'll just take what I can get. I guess I just take what I get. How many of us has been to that one? Okay. So this is why I ask you to please not get upset with your wife if she doesn't want to make love. And the reason why is it pushes her away. It makes her not want to make love to you at all. Okay. So this is why understanding her body and denying ourselves as husbands is too important. It's so important. Usually, if our wife refuses us intimacy, it is because of her body is not acting right, or she doesn't feel close to us. So getting upset will only make things worse and make her feel guilty, and she will blame you for this 10 years down the road. A true man asks himself, why doesn't my wife want to make love to me? Dude, I'm telling the truth. If you get mad at her because she don't want to make love, 10 years down the road, she's gonna go, remember that time I told you I didn't want to make love and you got all mad at me? That really hurt me. And you go, that was 20 years ago. You still mad about that? Yes, I'm still mad about it. Yes. All right. Next one. Number 66 reason that you need marriage coaching is, as a husband, we are unable to give our wife at least one sexual peak. Okay. Being a bad lover is hard on our marriage. Every husband must have the goal of becoming a world-class lover for his wife and the benefit of God in his marriage. And being able to perform at a high level, no matter our age, is of the utmost importance. We say we love our wives, but are we willing to sacrifice to gain the knowledge to completely please her? So that's what I get. I hit every guy tells me, I put her first. I make sure she gets hers. Well, maybe it's not one. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 20. How do you even know? You ain't even gotten there. You ain't even talked to her. This is what I mean about understanding our wife, understanding women, and understanding what they need. We got to stop this assuming stuff. So when I'm married, when you're married, you got one woman. A lot of guys can't keep their darn minds off of other women. When they got the one at home, they can't even please her right. And so I'm not saying looking at a woman, oh, she's nice looking or whatever, looking at her body for a minute or so. I'm not saying that. If a woman looks good, every man's going to look, but that's not sinful. What I mean sinful, you guys know what I mean sinful. Like our mind goes to other things it ain't supposed to go to, or we're flirting with the girl, or we're smiling at the girl, whatever. My point of what I'm saying is, man, dudes, we get selfish in that we've got this beautiful woman at home and she's beautiful to us. Why is she beautiful to us? Well, we married her, didn't we? We married her. We had children with her. We got before God and said we love her. So we got this woman at home that she's willing to do basically anything on this earth for us, including die for us. And we can't keep our stupid eyes and minds and hearts off of all the candy that's out there. So here, and so as a man, what you got to learn is what you got to learn is, man, how to focus on the one you got, how to make her happy. And the way you do that is you have dang on conversations and talk to her about stuff. You get in her head. And then once you get in your wife's head, you get in her heart, you get in her mind, you get in her soul. then you have the woman that you want. Instead of going out here and wishing I had her, or boy, she sure whatever, and man, look, focus on the one we got. Let's focus on her. Let's get her to the point where she loves us so much. She's loves is devoted. She's devoted to us. She respects us. She loves us more than anything in the world. She's willing to serve us. She's willing to do anything. She's willing to do anything that it takes to make you happy. That's when you know, that's when your marriage is great. When you and your wife come together and you're trying so hard to serve each other that, you don't even worry about what's going on outside you and her because you're into each other. That's the way you used to be when you was dating her before you was trying to, when you was trying to get in her pants the first time. That's right. I said it. And this is the problem. We focus on the one you have. And as a man, if we aren't able to perform properly inside the bedroom, how do we expect to keep our wives happy? It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not. We got to keep our bodies in. We got to keep our bodies right. I'm not saying go out and run 10 miles a day and bench 400 pounds. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, learn the things to do so that we are always performing at a high level when it comes to the inside the bedroom. So then we do all this hard work outside the bedroom to win our wife's heart, to romance her, to listen to her, to have great conversations with her, to show her how much we love her. And we get inside the bedroom, we don't drop the ball, right? We're performing at a high level. And so now once we can do that, then our wife wants to make love to us. Our wife wants to hang out. Our wife wants to be intimate with us. This is why the first question I had asked it before is the first question we should always be asking ourselves when our wife does not want to make love to us is, am I the problem? That's it. It's a real simple question. It'll save your sex life. And then if you realize you are the problem, then what you do is you figure out how to solve that, how to do what needs to be done. Okay? All right. So that's number 66. So we have 6 more. We'll take care of that tomorrow. I hope you guys understand and got some out of this today. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to review and look at some comments if we have any, or any phone calls. Bam. Get live Catholic marriage help Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Live streamed on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and CatholicAlpha.com. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. All right. We are back, and with our conclusion for today. And again, what we're going to do real quick is review the ones we went over today real quick before we go. I don't have any comments or calls, so after that, we will be done. Again, I hope some things that I talk about, look, a lot of things on these 72 things, if you only got one of them, you can fix that on your own. But some of these things, even if it's one of them, you need help. Okay. And if you don't get the help for one, guess what? It starts to compound and geometrically grow. You got one, then you got two, then you got four, then you got six. It just keeps, it keeps going. Or no, four, then eight. My fault. Then you keep going, and before you know it, things are out of control. So what I want to do real quick is go over the ones we covered today, and then we will be out of here. So number 61 reason, the 61st reason that you as a husband may need marriage coaching is you don't sacrifice for your wife in marriage. It's important that we sacrifice, okay? Number 62, you are selfish in your marriage, not in just, outside the bedroom with your kids, with your marriage in general. Number 63, you don't understand how your wife's body works, the menopause thing, the menstrual cycle thing, the temperament, the decision-making of your wife. That's important. Number 64, you put yourself first during lovemaking. It's our job to learn how to be a world-class lover, to be very intimate, to understand romance, all this stuff, so that our wife knows that we love her more than anything in the world, okay? Number 65, as a husband, we get upset when our wife refuses to make love to us. Again, that's kind of selfish. First thing we should be asking ourselves is, like, why doesn't my wife want to be intimate with me? Okay. Number 66, we are unable to give our wife at least one sexual peak. And so that is important. Understand how to serve your wife. We must always be at a level of high performance when we are making love to our wife. Why? Because intimacy is way more important for women than it is men. It's not just about pleasure either. And so it's time that you learn that and understand what that means. All right. So we are done for the day. All right. And so as we always do, we end with the quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, "Society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. Now go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is upon you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle." Thank you for listening in today. If what you heard helped you in any way and you would like more personal attention, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior marriage coaching. And remember to join the Catholic Alpha Radical Live podcast as a caller or listener every Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. To join as a caller, dial area code 313-RADICAL. To join as a listener or view the live stream, visit the Catholic Alpha Radical Live Facebook page or visit CatholicAlpha.com for Catholic marriage help that actually works. Bam!